Welcome to the Teaching Genius Podcast. All right. You got Mr. Raheem Bush, the hostess with the mostest. All right, and to the left of me,
Egypt, your other hostess to the mostest.
All right. And principal, please introduce yourself to our lovely audience.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mrs. Scalfaro, the principal of PS 68 in Ridgewood, Queens, and I'm happy to be here with you.
Woo! All right. So we're going to get...
Just want to shout out to all the teachers listening.
All right.
Your real inspiration. Okay, now you can continue your set.
All right, so let's get into your first question, baby girl.
Okay, my first question is, how long have you been an educator?
Well, you're not going to believe this, but I have been in the field of education for 30 years.
30 years! Applause. Everybody's listening. Yeah, applause.
So let me ask you this, right? Give me one reason, right? With all of the, they're calling it the great, what is it? The great retirement, the great resignation period, right?
Yeah.
Get them some advice, right? Because you got 30 years in the game. Like you the super vet. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm the super vet.
Tell them how to keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, tell them.
Well, I could see some people really wanting to exit and retire after the 2 years that we've had. But if you can hold on, you should stick it out, because the joy that educators are doing and giving to our students is amazing. So I'm hoping you should really just hang in there a little longer if you can, because there's still time for vacation, family, and relaxation later on.
Beautiful. All right, let's go. What's your next question?
Okay, my next question is, no, not that one. That's the third one. Okay, what is your favorite thing about your career?
So, my favorite thing about my career is seeing happiness and joy in the students in our school, and in all students that I have touched their lives in some aspect, especially when they come back and visit, even after they have left. So I am super, super happy to see their success.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm raising my hand because I want to add on. So a lot of teachers that we interview say that, how they see their students just passing by and not always and saying hi. And you just said the exact same thing, but just different.
Yes. That it seems to be a beautiful transition when you see those seeds being planted and you watch that tree pass you. You know what I mean? Years later.
It's very rewarding. Believe it or not, this career is extremely rewarding. And knowing that you made a difference is amazing.
Right.
That's what's up. All right, go ahead with your next question.
Okay, my next question is, you already heard it because I almost said it, but no, actually, I'm going to give you two things. What is two things in the education that you would change if you were in charge of your system? Wait, before you give me your answer. Okay, a lot of teachers say that they want to change the supply system. They want to give those all the
equity. The word is equity.
Equity together and have everybody in the system, just all the schools together having the same amount of supply, so they all have enough stuff. Because some schools don't have a lot of money and they don't have a lot of supplies for the kids. So yeah.
Well, that is not what I want to say. You might not like what I want to say, being a student yourself, Egypt, but what I feel, if I was in charge of the system, I would make a longer school day and a longer school year. There is just not enough time during the day to fit everything we want to do. And if we just had a little bit more time with students and maybe even a longer school year, we would be able to get it done. And also your parents will be happy too, because everybody wouldn't be off at the same time. We could have kids off at different times throughout the year.
Right.
So going on vacation wouldn't always be so expensive.
Right.
That's number one.
Right. That's fine.
Number two, it also gives children breaks at different times throughout the year. And I really feel that, again, coming off the pandemic, that too much time was lost, and children and families really respect the fact that we have school for our children.
Right.
What do you think of that answer?
How you feel about more school, more days of school, no summer break?
Bad. No,
I
I couldn't keep up. I could not.
So what I will say is, when you go around the world, that's the case. It's a lot of countries where school is 24/7, 365. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's not a bad idea, especially with the idea that you guys, children, lose so much of what they learned in that summer break. You know what I'm saying? So if you could cut some of that down, especially with the world that we're walking into, where you have to be so qualified, you know what I mean? That's
Wait,
not a bad idea.
Babe, are you telling me that there would not be Sunday? The final break, so you can do your reading log, you would not have that?
No, I'm thinking in my thoughts, I would say that we would have school Monday through Friday,
Right.
but we would stay a little longer instead of having like a 6 hour and 50-minute day or a 6 hour and 20-minute day, however your school set up.
Mm-hmm.
We would have maybe an 8-hour day.
Right.
And we would also have an extended time period. So instead of you being off June and July, you would have different times off. Maybe you would go to school 6 weeks, then have a week off. Then you'd go to school another 6 weeks and have a week off. So that school would almost be 12 months.
Right. I mean, Egypt school is a little bit longer. Her day is what? You start at what, 7:20?
Yeah,
and you don't finish until 4. So
no, I don't start. 7:15.
7:15 to
Yeah, I just like start
4 basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
like
that makes sense.
My school's like really longer,
Right.
and we do like a bunch of morning in that, but it's like the end of the year, so we don't do much.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Go with your next.
Okay,
question.
so my fourth question is that can you tell me one of your fondest memories while working with your students?
So this was a tough question to think about. It's a very good question because I've had so many fond memories. So for me,
give me one and then give me like 2 more.
Okay.
We have enough time.
So one time I could think of when we had a student that came to our school, and all of a sudden, this happens, which I learned over the years, that sometimes children wake up one day and they don't want to come to school anymore.
Right.
So of course, the first thing we think of as educators and also parents are like, what happened? Did someone do something? Did someone hurt you? You know, that's the first thing you think of. Like, why wouldn't you want to come to school? But when you dig deep, it's a serious problem, and it's called school phobia. And sometimes it just occurs, and children it happens. So we had this child it happened to, and our whole school worked together as a community to help this child overcome his fear of coming to school. And it got to a point that his parents helped. We had a whole system put together that he didn't even want to leave school then when he got here. Nice. So I am proud of our staff and supports that we put in place to work and help this child overcome his fear of coming to school until this day. So this child I'm talking about moved out of New York City State. He left. I still keep in touch with his mom and dad and his brothers and sisters, and they moved out of state, and we still keep in touch. So that is like one of my fondest memories.
See, that's a beautiful thing to be able to really like be so specific to just one child's needs. You know what I mean? Like, you got to think y'all are running a major show with all of the children that you see every single day. So to be able to catch that, for one, because most people probably wouldn't even caught it, and then to fix it, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Okay, wait, I have a story that adds on to this. So, remember when Miss Gilbert left us, like my
Yes.
teacher? So, there was this one kid that really loved that teacher, right? So, when the next day, when they didn't want to come to school because because they were conscious that they wouldn't see her face. So they kept on like so they had a scene when their parents were trying to get them out of bed. So like they would literally when their parents like took them out of the covers and they told them, okay, it's time for school, get changed, they would go back
into the room. We got it.
Yeah.
They would act like they're going out of the room as soon as the parents told them that. And once the parents got out of the room, so they could, and then like you would close the door, and then
Are they back in school now?
Yeah, but like so the child would just like, when the parents got out of the room, the child would just like close the door and then go back and under the covers to go sleep again. So then the parents would come out because they're like, where is them?
Okay. We got you. We got you. We got you.
So now
kept on doing that, and then they finally got changed, and then they bring them to school, and they were like putting their heads down the whole day and crying and didn't pay attention that much. And then so our whole class was trying to help them so they could come back to school, and then they finally did.
Okay, good.
That's great. So you worked as a team to help this child feel comfortable coming back to school. That's wonderful.
Right. So I guess that's a common thing once you have something that sparks it. Yeah. All right, go ahead. Let's wrap this up.
My last question to wrap it all up from all the others. What advice would you give to your younger self when you were training for the school field?
For this field.
So knowing what I know now, one piece of advice that I would give would be to never, I don't want to say the word never, don't want to use that word. Do not take things personal.
Beautiful.
Things change, people come, people go. You can't make everybody happy. Sometimes you make people happy, but to get through, you cannot take things personal. You just have to keep moving on and always do your best.
See, that's a great message for life in general, because the reality of it is tomorrow is going to be much better than it was today. You understand what I'm saying? We don't realize a lot of times it's like the butcher sharpening his knife, right? Every time you make a cut, it's not going to be perfect. But believe it or not, those mistakes allow you to grow. And one day you look amazing to somebody. You understand what I'm saying? But it's from making all of those attempts, making all of those adjustments, just moving past the mistakes, learning from them, growing, and giving yourself that second opportunity. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. That's amazing. I think that's some advice for our teachers, our students, people in general. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think you're wise beyond your years.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. So to wrap this up, we want to shout out your school. Tell them your school. If you got, an Instagram handle, you want to give them some Facebook information, so they can follow you.
Maybe Twitter.
Yeah, and ask you some questions. You know what I mean? You can give them some of those jewels from your 30 years of experience. That is amazing. You know what I'm saying? That is amazing. To do anything for 30 years is powerful. You know what I mean?
So come check us out. We're at ps68q.org. That's our website. And from our website, you can click on the links to Twitter, to our PTA, and to our Instagram.
All right. And shout out to your students. All right. We loved having you. And we're going to say bye. Thank you for being on the Teaching Genius podcast.
I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to you. And Egypt, you got it going on, girl. You keep this going. You are an inspiration to many other children and students across the nation. So you have to keep it going on.
Because some adults have their own storybooks and have the idea of their own storybooks and they have them ready, but they're too scared to just show it to the world because they're scared that the world might not like it.
Right. So we're gonna keep trying to inspire. Thank you so much. We had a great time
Thank
with you.
you.
And I really hope that some of these jewels that you drop, people pick them up because listen, 30 years. Y'all hear that? 30 years.
I know.
30.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm sorry.
3 decades out here. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right.